Hi, and welcome back to another Eduro Learning video. As you can see today, I am not in my normal location. I'm actually in Everett, Washington, because for the next 2 weeks, I will be working with Marysville teachers just outside of Seattle. And we have a long-term contract with the school districts of Marysville and Everett outside of Seattle, Washington. And I'm super pumped to be back here and working with teachers and kind of taking a trip to the U.S. and experiencing a little bit of winter, but not too bad. Today's topic is continuing along the theme from the last 2 weeks, which are my top 5 strategies for your coaching toolkit. And last week we talked about working with the willing, and this week we're going to talk about finding the challenge. As usual, I have my notes over here at the side, so if I look over there, that's what I'm doing. I'm really excited about this series of videos because I love talking about coaching and I love learning about coaching. And this series has kind of expanded and grown into more than just these Facebook videos and YouTube videos. We are building out a short course called Coaching Essentials. We are also writing a book called Your Journey to Coaching. And we are going to run a webinar towards the end of this. And right before that, we'll do a Q&A where you can kind of ask me anything specifically about coaching. But if you have other questions related to educational technology, I'm happy to answer those, or powerlifting. You guys know I love to talk about that too. So basically, the reason I'm telling you all of this is because I'd love to hear from you. I really want to hear what your questions are, what your struggles with, what your challenges are with coaching, what you'd like help with, because I really want to make all of those products really great for you. All of those products lead up to the Coach micro-credential. So if any of this stuff that I'm talking about is interesting to you, please check that out. Go to edurolearning.com and click on the Teachers tab at the top and have a look at our micro-credential and all these other great products that are going up over the course of the next few weeks. So, and of course, I have to mention our book. All the topics that I'm talking about today can be found in our brand new book, which is the first book of our Eduro Press series. And this is the book for teachers. But as a coach, this is a great resource that you can actually have a look through and get some ideas for how you might want to talk to teachers or things you might want to do with teachers. So I do want to highlight this short read that has a companion website with tons of resources. Okay, so getting into my second strategy, which is find the challenge. The idea behind this one is, if you listened or watched the first video, you heard me talk about working with the willing, talking about the teachers who are keen and interested and want to work with you, which is a great way to kind of get started and see what's going on in your school and talk to some new people. The problem is you can't stay there forever, because our job as coaches is to expand beyond just the teachers who are willing, but to try to work with as many people as we possibly can. So the idea for Find the Challenge is to see what teachers are struggling with. So every teacher has a unit or a certain subject or a certain topic area that just doesn't quite click for them. Either it's something they don't actually really enjoy teaching, so it's a real challenge for them, or the content is really a struggle. They can't figure out how to make it meaningful and relevant for students, or the assessment just doesn't quite work. Something isn't clicking with this unit. So instead of trying to work with a kind of middle adopter teachers, the teachers who maybe are like, okay, I'd work with you, but only if there was something really purposeful, instead of trying to change something that's already working, see if you can find the challenge, if you can find the thing that's not quite working right, and then work on that unit with them, because there's really nowhere to go but up. So the what of Find the Challenge is find a unit that's not quite working for a teacher and help identify that unit with them and have that unit be the one that you partner with them. The why of Find the Challenge is because if there's something that's not really working and you help them make it better, that's going to prove your value as a coach immediately. It's going to help improve student learning immediately, and it's going to make the teacher's life easier, because I'm assuming that when two of you are working together, you're going to make that unit better than it was before in lots of different ways, and maybe even more efficient and more effective. So that kind of idea of proving yourself to a colleague, it works really well if you can start with something that's not working already. And of course, there's really no point in wasting your time on a unit that's working really well. So lastly, how can you do this? Like, how can you find the challenge? I think this one is a little bit hard for coaches, because teachers don't usually want to talk about things that don't work well, right? They want to talk about things that are going great and, the great learning that's happening in their classrooms. So how do you kind of get in and figure out which things aren't working for teachers. And I think one thing that's a good strategy for coaches just in general is to do classroom walkthroughs and do them in a really friendly and approachable manner. You might want to have a chat to some students in the classroom and see what they're thinking about their learning, and then give some feedback to the teacher and see if that kind of opens up a coaching conversation where you can talk about what they might be really doing great at and the things that they might be struggling with. Another strategy to find the challenge is to go to those team meetings. I know that it takes a lot of time, and as a coach, I had to start to prioritize how many team meetings I could actually go to, because you could basically go to team meetings all day long every day if you let yourself. But go to some team meetings, especially if you know there's a teacher on a team that you really want to work with and you know there must be something there, but you're having trouble figuring out what it is. Go to that team meeting for a couple weeks and see if you can start a conversation to find out what the challenge is for that particular teacher. And then, of course, you can just ask the teachers that you're already working with what was a challenging unit for them or what they think members of their team might be challenged by. And what I've always been fortunate to be able to do is actually lead staff meetings. So that's another opportunity too, is if you have the chance to lead a staff meeting and possibly actually talk to teachers and give them an opportunity to reflect on what's working and what's not in their classroom, you might actually find that teachers are able to recognize that their own challenge and then choose to come to you. And that kind of makes them working with the willing, but I think it still fits in with this idea of find the challenge, because they're identifying what's not working for them and seeking out the support that they need. So my second strategy for your coaching toolkit is to find the challenge in whatever way that works for you. If you have questions or comments or ideas or strategies or things you want to share or things you want to learn about coaching, please drop them in the comments. Send me a tweet. Send us a tweet at Aduro Learning. Doesn't matter how you get in touch with us. We really want to know what you're interested in thinking and talking about in terms of coaching, because we're really excited about all these different things that we're building, and we want to make sure they're 100% totally relevant for you, and that the next book that comes out, the coaching book that comes out, is just as awesome as this one is for classroom teachers. So thank you so much for joining me today. Look forward to seeing you guys again next week. I will possibly be in my winter gear again next week, or maybe I will be back in Bangkok. Depends on how I decide to record the video. So look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Have a great day.